Hello, Andy with Handy Andy, and we are out at this gorgeous property out in the woods in Ball Ground where we've been doing a lot of work lately, surprisingly. And so we're out for inspection repairs. So we're only really looking at what the inspector had to talk about. So this siding is board and batten siding. It's basically plywood siding with a 1x4 nailed over the joints to give it that nice pattern. And the trick with some of that stuff is that if it's not kept caulked properly, or these battens, the long 1x4 there, that kind of makes that nice pattern all the way across. If it's not primed and sealed from behind, it'll rot when the caulk fails. So this house is painted probably in the last year, and the homeowner that's going to buy this house, if he'll just take a section or two at a time, we can come in here and restain the cedar shakes and caulk and repaint as we go. This was sprayed, and so you really want to hand paint it. You can spray it, but you'll see there's a lot of spots along the way that need repair. So out here in the garage, when you get down at the bottom down here, they've got about 3 or 4 sections of siding, particularly down in this area right here, where you can put your finger through it. A couple of pieces down here. See where they got real thick with the caulk in there? Those just need to be replaced. And so when we replace that siding, you'll see some repairs that other people made where they'll come across and just make a cut maybe a foot or two up into the plywood and then just spot it in. The problem with that is eventually the caulk's going to fail. So when you repair siding like this, you really have to replace the whole strip all the way up. And that's the recommended way to do it. In some of these areas, you'll see this little piece at the bottom is drip cap. And in some areas, particularly around the back side of this garage, they're rotted out and they need to be replaced. So as I'm coming through here, a stitch in time saves 9. You'll see the little black in that vertical right there. That's just where the wood is starting to rot. But see these siding pieces down here when I get closer? They just caulked it. The painters came in. That plywood is all rotted. The siding's all rotted in this area right here. So, don't shudder. It's not a huge expensive repair. But it does take a minute. The battens have to be removed. We back prime and seal the siding so it won't rot again. And that's really why this siding rotted. They only painted what you see, which is true of most contractors and builders. And we get asked all the time, why don't you build houses? Well, because my house, if this house is $500,000, my house is going to be $750,000, and you're not going to pay me $250,000 extra because it was built right. I'll probably build something for myself, for my kids at some point, just because it's fun. But for customers to sell, nah. So as you come around this corner, you can see right here. See where this is just rotted out all the way through. And so we need to come back through here and replace this whole piece all the way down through here. And then you get to this section right here, and you see where they bondoed this in and painted it. These 2 pieces right here of siding need to be replaced. These 2 pieces here need to be replaced. So again, it's not huge. In fact, the garage probably has more siding work to it than anywhere else. But then once you catch up on this stuff, you'll be good to go for another 10 years. Just keep it painted. Like this drip cap down here is just starting to rot. And people say, well, why don't you use a vinyl product? Well, because if you put vinyl down there, it's going to warp, it's going to split, it's going to fade, it's going to crack. It's not going to rot to let you know you have a problem. Here, when it rots, oh, hey, I got a problem here. And trim is sacrificial, and that's kind of what you want. When you get over to the main house, so we're looking at this arbor. For our money right now, we would just replace a couple of the boards on the decking on the walkway. We can replace all of the slats in this arbor on both sides and just sister the cedar. This is all cedar. It's very expensive to do. So we would sister this piece right here, meaning we'll put pressure treat on either side, cut to match it, and then put some new slats across the top if they want. And this can all be done in stages. They don't have to run out and do it right now. If they want to keep this, I don't know if it's a wisteria or if it's I'm not sure what this is. But my guess is it's probably real pretty when it comes to life. But you got the woodpeckers been at it because they hear the borer bees. And you can see someone replaced these posts right here not long ago. And the borer bees come and they drill a hole in it and they lay their larvae. And what they do is they drill all the way up through there and all the way down. And then the woodpecker comes and he's got a lunch buffet for free. And that's exactly what happened. So these posts, because they're new and they're still structurally sound, we can, even though they don't look it, we can skim over them and then stain these a dark color, and all this will kind of blend in. This is old growth wood. And so not only is it prohibitively expensive to replace, if you don't mind cleaning it up and staying in the dark stain will kind of hide a lot of this stuff. You know, and there's a few boards like right here that we'll have to replace. My boys will have to probe it if we end up coming up here to do the work for the customer. But it's a beautiful house. The main reason we're up here today is to look at the windows and then some of the siding issues that the inspector pointed out. So over in this corner right here, at the gutter, there's no kick out flashing, and so the water's been coming right down through here. And so these 4 sections of siding right in this corner here need to be replaced. When they skim Bondo over a rotted section like they did right here, that's not going to last but a few months, and that's it. So we replace up to this flashing between the joints right here. You can see above the gutter they replaced a piece, and that's how we end up doing that. When we come around, you'll start to see some of the windows up here, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's one post right here in the corner of this front porch. This one rotted, and they cut it down, and then they put a shim up above, is what it looks like. All of this is settled a little bit, and you can see that here in the corner. They just need to watch that. But part of the reason it's settling is you've got gutters up in this corner here that are draining right against this foundation. Every time it rains, water's draining against this foundation over here in the slab, and it's just eroding it and causing it to drop a little bit over time. I wouldn't try to shift it back in place, but I would address some of these gutters. You can see how nice these windows are. These are Anderson or Pella windows. They were extremely expensive when they were put in this house. And we're the only company in Atlanta that'll fix these things. So this window here, looking into this pantry, I think, or something like that. And then we got a window right here. You can kind of see what the repair is. They bondoed that with putty and painted it. It's already fallen out. And this house was only painted a year ago. So we actually have to make a custom piece at that bottom and piece in on the left and right. And then it'll be good as new. You'll be able to use it again. Same thing in this window right here. So fortunately, we've got guys that can make these pieces. This corner board is rotted right here. And then we just need to seal this gap here at the bottom. Same thing here, up above, we need another piece of kick out flashing right there. Here, this siding is not original. This has been replaced. And they replaced it because of that kick out flashing up there. As we come around, this is the front of the house. I often confuse my guys because I'll get out and I'll start calling the house the front from where I got out. It might be the rear for their purposes, but you know, these windows up here are good. It's always hard to see when you've got dark painted trim. You've got to go a little harder at that stuff and take a harder look at it, just because black and browns cover up so much. And when you come out in the light, you can't see these things. So like up here, you can see it now that the light is off of it. That bottom triangle right there, we call it a dog ear, that piece is rotted as well. And again, none of these things are huge. They're just all things that, hey, you want to catch them so they don't get expensive. You know, you've got corrugated pipe. At some point, you want to examine this stuff. Corrugated pipe is always going to clog. So right now in heavy rains, all the water in this corner is dropping right against the foundation. And we really don't want that. You don't ever want corrugated pipe going underground. So we can fix that in time. This siding in here, someone's done a bunch of replacement over here, a bunch of work over here, and it's all pretty good at the left side until you get over here. And again, it's a beautiful house. So I'm picking at things that, yeah, they need to be repaired. So like in this corner, it's hard to see in the video, but we're at the back of the basement kind of porch here. And right in this corner where the framing for the roof hits the house, that corner board is rotted. It needs to be sealed. We've got one post right here. This little deck is settled a little bit too. And again, a lot of these things were done with nails. There's not a lot of screws in this stuff. So over time, this is settled just a little bit. The post dropped or rotted and they cut it. So this center post right here needs to be replaced. And you can see the warp in that one right there. That needs to be replaced as well. You know, these are load bearing. And then the customer can stain these things up themselves, or we can do it, or, you know, whatever y'all want to do. We do everything, so that's kind of nice. But again, they have us out here for these windows. Every company in Atlanta is going to tell you got to replace all these windows. And you get into that on a house like this, you're looking at easy $80,000 to $100,000. So here on this window, this is in the basement, kind of a, I don't know if it's a little poker room or what they would use it for, but down here, both of these windows are rotted out at the lower sash, then left and right frames. And so our boys have to make the pieces. Now that the lights come off of this a little bit, See that top piece of brick mold? When you see that wrinkle in there, that lets you know that's rotted all the way across too. And part of it is because the flashings were cut a little short. Back here at the house side of this rear porch, it's hard to see in my video, I apologize, but right under that gutter, there's a wide open gap. That needs to be sealed, and the little corner board to the left of it's rotted as well, and it needs a piece of kick-out flashing. Kick-out flashing is cut into the side of the house and folds over the gutter so water can't get in between. And that's a pretty important thing. As you move around this house, and this is why we're saying paint it in stages. See that black line right there? That's where some caulk has failed, and over time, these boards were already replaced at least once. And you can see that by looking at it. See the difference in thickness? See how the edges stick out and they're nice and smooth. This piece of siding right above here to the left of the main floor window and the screen porch in between right there, that strip needs to be replaced as well. And again, we're pointing these things out because it's all maintenance type stuff that needs to be addressed. When the inspectors come out, they can't catch every single thing. Bless them, they try, but they're only on the property for 4 to 6 hours. They can only find so many things, and they're typically not contractors. People ask all the time, Andy, why don't you come out and do our inspection? I could, but it's kind of a conflict of interest because then I'm telling you everything that's wrong. You're paying me for that, and then I've got, you're paying me again to fix it. So we don't do that, but a lot of times we'll meet, for the agents that we work for, we'll meet them on site like we did here today. So you can see the gap under that post right there. You can literally push it over because it's not sitting very well anymore. These upper windows up here on the second floor, so this big bank of windows is the main floor. On that one, you got 4 or 5 windows are rotted and the nose is rotted. We have to fabricate something custom to go all the way across there. It's been repaired a couple times. Those second story windows are in good shape. Up here on the upper floor in this corner, I forget, I think it's 4 windows up there. The sashes are rotted, need to be repaired. Down here, it's the same thing on this main floor window. I believe there's 4 sashes there, and then the 2 sashes here. But it's cheaper to keep her, as I like to say. Also to my friends that are thinking about getting divorced, don't do it. Cheaper to keep her, usually. Back here in this corner, we need to seal this hole underneath the corner board right there. It looks like someone tried to repair it. I'm not really sure what they were doing there. Where the windows have been protected, they're pretty good. These posts just need to be light sanded down, spot primed, and repainted. Back when this house was built, everybody was using metal posts then. You couldn't get pressure treated in a 6x6 at this length. So no one did it. And as long as you maintain these, the problem with these is they need to be probed. I'm not sure that they're set on concrete footers. This one right here, I know isn't, and it's been getting eroded from that downspout over there. If you don't manage your outside water, it's gonna manage you. And so over time, it's eroded around this post enough that it actually settled. And so if you can see, it's gonna be hard in the video here. If you see that doubled up joist right there, that piece needs to be bolted. All of these metal brackets under here, these joist hangers are nailed. There's not a screw in this deck. These bolts at the back here, they should have been staggered. We can't do anything about that now without splitting the wood. So I wouldn't take the chance. We might be able to add a couple, but that's about it. But we need to add screws to every one of these joist hangers. We would add bolts to this piece right here. And then really, it's kind of an expensive repair, but this is settled right here. It's actually a slight V into where that post is because it's not adequately supported. So we would actually come in with a brace and post assembly and set it in concrete and replace this metal post with that assembly. And we have to jack this deck up about 1/2 an inch. It's out about 1/2 an inch. And you can see it when you go inside. So, it's not going anywhere right now. But if you put 20 people on this deck, you got a problem. Now, will that ever happen? Probably not. But this downspout right here, A, we got to be better about cleaning your gutters. B, we've got to get this thing across here and down the hill. They just put this extension here, so the water's been running across this this cement landing back here at the rear basement door, and then it's just going through the dirt here, and it's been eroding this post, it's eroding this bank, and just water will take its own course. So you can see right here, originally this looks like this rim board is miscut. It's not. When you go inside, you can see where the whole thing has just dropped down a little bit. Again, not a deal killer, but a repair that needs to be made. And then over here at the back of the house near the laundry room, you'll see where their solution, someone's solution to this rotted siding was come in here and cut back the battens and then stagger in with these little pieces of trim. The problem with that is the siding behind it's rotted. And as the inspector pointed out, this little drip cap here is rotted too. So since we've got to pull those pieces out to replace the drip cap, we'll come back in here and cut these 1x4s and then put a continuous piece of 1x6 on the horizontal all the way across there, back primed and sealed so it won't ever rot again. The good thing about any trim repairs we make, it's a lifetime of ownership warranty. So if these buyers are here for 25 years, we'll come back and fix it. But overall, you know, as we walk through the house, it seems like, oh my goodness, there's a lot of things wrong. No, it's just maintenance stuff, really. These owners probably never knew they had this problem, but whoever they paid to paint this house certainly did. And they just didn't tell them because, like most contractors, they want to get paid. So my brother and I, we run a nice crew of 20-some people. We do it all. We travel all the metro area. We work for a lot of realtors. You're going to have questions. You can reach us in the office or you can catch me live at 770-265-9017. I'm Andy. See you at the next house. Bye for now.